And welcome to part 2. Still talking about ZDSoft. ZDSoft is not free, not in the free part yet. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But anyways, I was saying, highly unique program. I think it actually lowered its own priority to make sure I didn't lose any frames while recording under its default settings, which is highly unique, very useful. If you don't want it to do that though, then just set up like 30 FPS and original. And I hope you have a decent computer because it is CPU intensive. You can choose whether or not to choose uncompressed video. It's actually very cool. One of the coolest things I've seen about ZDSoft, apart from the capture wizard, which will actually say want to record gameplay 3D game, it actually selects the best settings that it believes for whatever it is you're trying to record, but it also records your screen, whether the full screen or a selected area. That's actually the first recorder I've ever seen to do both gaming and screen recording. And that will be very useful if like there's a game it doesn't detect. I'll just manually set it up to record, which is always a good thing. It will record to sound directly from your speaker. However, if you plug in your microphone, you have to choose one of the two, which isn't all that fun. For people who like to do the play-by-play thing. Yeah, it attaches itself to a big variety of games, a lot like Fraps and TX Story. Because you can select the codec, you can configure and set up, and with good enough configurations you'll get no lag, good quality, small file size. And it costs the same as Fraps, the exact same price, $37. At least the last time I checked for the Fraps' price. So if I were to buy one, I would actually choose ZDSoft rather than Fraps, just because of the screen recording and because it does actually work better. And also because I can select codec, so I can make it work even better. The limits for the free trial are: there's a watermark that looks a lot like the Hypercam watermark that you're used to seeing, only it says ZDSoft instead of Hypercam. And there's the fact that it has only a 30-day trial, which past that it stores a cookie somewhere on your computer, so you can't just uninstall then reinstall it. So, yeah. If I were to stick with just a 30-day one of the trial versions of all the recorders I've shown you so far, I would actually choose DX Story because it attaches itself to a lot, including my Mugen, and has good quality. I can configure the codec, it will record sound, and I would just deal with the watermark. If PlayClaw attaches itself to more stuff, then I would choose PlayClaw. So then, I believe we have enough time for some bonus recorders. And the ones I've selected for this particular video are Camtasia Studio, Cam Studio, and Hypercam. Please note that none of these are official game recorders. They are screen recorders meant for recording your screen like I am doing. If you want to record it with games, you'll have to do a lot of configuring to get it right because it's not meant to be a game recorder. That's why a lot of people don't like Hypercam, because they try to use it for the games and they just want to pick it up and go. That's not an option for these screen recorders. Anyway, the one I'm using right now is Camtasia Studio. It's a 30-day free trial. It is by no means free at all. I think it's like $400 or something. And the reason for that is because it's a screen recorder and it's a good video editor at the same time. And you can just immediately upload it to YouTube once you're done. Excuse me, sir. It comes with its own codec, the TechSmith codec, which is actually a very clear codec, very good. It will record sound from your speaker and from the actual computer at the same time. Now, it's not meant to be really a game recorder. However, there are some people who manage to make it that way. Like this one guy I know. It's called Mugen Evil Ryu. He does some awesome Mugen videos. Videos. So yeah, he uses Camtasia Studio, and one of the best things about using Camtasia Studio for recording games is that when you're done, you're actually able to upload it to YouTube. That's very unique and very cool. However, recording games, especially the newer ones, will be very CPU intensive. I do not recommend it at all. And you may get frustrated from time to time. Same thing with HyperCam. You have to configure with it, mess around with it, until you find the appropriate settings. I actually did use HyperCam for a while. There is a famous problem when recording with HyperCam. Yeah. Fast in the wrong ways. Anyway, it's not really that CPU intensive. It can work well if you find the right settings. You may have a problem with syncing sound. Again, that's because it's a screen recorder. And Cam Studio, again, you have to configure it. Oh yeah, by the way, HyperCam 2 is completely free now, no watermark or anything. HyperCam 3 is not, and HyperCam 2 actually records games better than HyperCam 3. Sorry, I hope you're hearing all this. I may end up adding subtitles to this video, but anyway, onto Cam Studio. Cam Studio is free. There's no watermark or anything. It's open source, which is always good. If you want to use it to record games, then you want to heighten the priority of it, especially if you have 2.0 instead of 2.5. I did use Cam Studio as well for a while after I was through with HyperCam. I did have a problem with syncing sound and dropping frames, but that's because it's a screen recorder. While these are just 3, and there are lots of others which I have tried, I think most of them, possibly all, like BSR, Code Screen Recorder, and countless others. These are all screen recorders, and that's why you'll have problems with it. So on to the free game recorders. Xfire. The Xfire is highly CPU intensive. There are people who recommend it, don't recommend it, and I think that's because of I think people say it and try and prove that it works worse than Fraps. There are people who say that it works better than Fraps. So it's really kind of like a war. It comes with its own codec, which other programs are actually able to select and use. Very clear. It will create a big file size, though not as big as Fraps. I heard there is some way to enable a no compression so that you won't get any lag during your video. I've tried to find it. I personally can't. If you do, please show me how. Though I may have found it out by then, but anyway. I did actually personally use Xfire for a while until I realized just how much it was slowing down my games. And one of the coolest things I found about Xfire is that while you're recording, it actually shows you while you're recording that how big a file size you're up to and how long you've been recording. That is very, very useful. A lot more recorders should be doing that, because that is just epicness. I could really use that in a lot of different places. So you can limit yourself to YouTube's limits and stuff like that. Now, it doesn't attach itself to games like Fraps does. It only attaches itself to a certain amount of games. I think it's like 500 something. All the famous games, so you can't record. Yeah, I don't believe you can record Mugen with it. Or emulators or stuff like that, so yeah. If you have a popular game that's listed in there, then feel free to use it or not use it. It's completely free for now, like Wii Game was. I don't know how long it will actually be free. It goes up to 100 FPS. No limits, no watermark, no resolution, sizing down. It will actually record from the actual computer. Not sure if it records the microphone as well. Going to have to check that out. So yeah, it is also a chat and IM thing, which is actually very cool. You can talk to somebody playing World of Warcraft while you're playing Sonic Heroes or something. So then, Xfire is a cool program. You can download different themes from it. It's constantly being updated, being made better. So I don't know how long that will stay free since it has a whole team behind it. So yeah, go Xfire. Now, the final recorder. The only other free screen game recorder I've ever seen. It is actually a game recorder. It was designed to be a free alternative to Fraps. It is now and forever free by law of open source. That program's name is Toxie. Thought to be abandoned back in like 2006, even though the site does say it hasn't been updated since 2006. It's wrong. The download link has been updated as of August 2010 this year. So by law of open source, it will forever remain free. I already said that. You can select what codec you want, configure it. You cannot just download it and go. It's not one of those game recorders. And a lot of people don't like that. So it's not for everybody. It's not one of those recorders where you can just set more FPS and it'll run better. It actually attaches itself to, ever since the update, quite a lot of games. Which, by the way, before the update it wasn't able to record sound. Now it will if you fool it into thinking that the system sound is actually the microphone, which you have to do for HybridCam and Camtasia Studio. But yeah, I haven't had a game which it doesn't attach itself to. It even attaches itself to web browser games like RuneScape. If you want to record it with Fraps, you have to be a member in order to get it to full screen. Not so with Toxie. You can be free. You can be recording it from like the square screen default that you're used to seeing. Yeah, there are a lot of people who don't recommend it, like Domination Darren. Which, by the way, thank you for at least putting the name out there, because since Toxie is open source, anybody's free to update it, any programmer. Which is probably why the download link has been updated, but the site has not. More people Toxie attracts, the more chance we have at getting the programmer who will be able to update it. So the more people it gets, the better it will be. So feel free to do a lot of configuring. If you're willing to get, like, maybe sometimes frustrated with the program, yet still be going on, then Toxie may be just right for you. If there's a game which doesn't detect, which it won't attach itself to, it actually attaches itself to the GDI frame. Which, by the way, when that happens, be sure to disable record GDI frame so that you won't get that in the video. And also do not enable half-size video frame recording, because that will just be colorful for all the wrong ways. It'll have a smooth frame skip though. If you really don't want to get frustrated and want it to be as good as Fraps, then the easiest way out of that is to enable no compression, which it will take up a huge full frames uncompressed. It'll take up a big amount of your hard drive space. Sorry. Huge amount of your hard drive space, but hey, it'll work very well and it'll have a very clear picture. Just compress it afterwards. I use the DivX codec under my personal settings. I have over 9,000 kilobytes per second. I literally just put that one there so I would have over 9,000. I'm still trying to find settings more like GameCam, because GameCam also uses the DivX codec. So I'm trying to figure out how that works. So yeah, I'm still configuring with it, and Toxie's all I ever used. It's all Testing Te ever uses as well. It's the one which he prefers as well. And now with the final minutes, I shall show you some gameplay of every single recorder I've showed you, if I'm not doing that already. I don't know, because I haven't edited out yet. So yeah, this is Testing Te's account for games, and I'm ImBlenderDude from Blender. Feel free to subscribe to either one of us. And yeah, this has been fun. I hope I've helped you in any way. If I have, then like it. Any questions or thoughts, comment. And again, subscribe for more. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Mugen Eve Review and the Dark Eve Ken for some awesome Mugen videos. Feel free to also drop in my requests anytime you wish. This is ImBlenderDude, the account of Testing Te. Fare thee well.